Students, we're going to go over limiting and excess reactants in this video. So first off, what is a limiting and excess reactant? Well, a lot of times when we're performing chemical reactions, we don't use up every reactant that we start with. Usually we run out of one thing first and then we have leftover of the other stuff. That's what limiting reactants and excess reactants are. The thing that we run out of is going to be our limiting reactant, and the thing that we have leftovers of is our excess reactant. So we can look at this example here of this sandwich, and we can see that each sandwich has to have 2 slices of bread, 3 pieces of lunch meat, and 1 slice of cheese. So if we have 6 slices of bread, 12 pieces of lunch meat, and 5 pieces of cheese, we can only make 3 sandwiches because we only have enough bread to make 3 sandwiches. That means we're going to have some leftover lunch meat and we're going to have some leftover cheese, right? So here's what limiting and excess reactants are. Limiting reactants are the ones that are going to actually determine how much product we can make, because we run out of the limiting reactant first. When we run out of the limiting reactant, the reaction stops. So how much ever the limiting can produce is how much product is actually going to be made. The limiting reactant is the thing that gets used up completely. The excess reactants are going to be the thing that we have more of. We're not going to run out of excess reactant. We're going to have some of that left over at the end of the actual reaction. So if we talk about this in terms of a burger, we can see that this particular burger has a bun, a piece of cheese, a hamburger patty, and some lettuce. So if this is the stuff that we have available to us, how many burgers can we make? Well, the hamburger bun tells us that we can make 4 burgers. The cheese tells us that we can make 6. The lettuce here tells us that we can make 3. And the hamburger patty tells us that we can make 5. So that means because we only have enough lettuce to make 3 hamburgers, we can only make 3 hamburgers. And the reaction for the hamburger making in this case would have to stop. I'm going to share with you this simulation, and if you want to play with it on your own later, feel free to. But I need to share something else here. Here it is. Okay, so this is a little PhET simulation if you want to do some practice with some limiting and excess reactants conceptually, not mathematically. But this one is really good because right now this is telling us that we have 1 hydrogen molecule and we have 1 oxygen molecule. But that's not enough to make water yet. We still have 1 hydrogen molecule and we have 1 oxygen molecule. But if we add another hydrogen, look what happens. Take a look at the product side again. Okay, keep your eyes focused on the product side as I add a hydrogen. Now we have enough to make more water. Okay, if I had 2 of each of the reactants, I would still have some leftover oxygen over here. Okay, I can add another hydrogen. That's still not enough to make another water. I would have to make another, use another hydrogen to make the water. Okay. Let me make ammonia here. So when you look at ammonia, same thing. We're starting with nothing. So if we start with 1 of each thing, we don't have enough yet to make ammonia. All right. We have 2 nitrogen atoms and we have 2 hydrogen atoms. If we add another nitrogen, nothing happens. If we add another hydrogen, nothing happens yet. If we add another hydrogen, now we can start making some ammonia. But we have some extra nitrogen here because we couldn't use up all of that nitrogen. Okay, so if we get rid of 1 of those, now we have a balanced reaction. We've used up all of our nitrogen and all of our hydrogen to make the ammonia. Okay, so that's what limiting and excess reactants are conceptually. Pay attention to the next video to see how mathematically we can determine which one's the limiting and which one's the excess.